And just like that, we're live. Hey guys. Sorry for the wait, I was just getting some sound settings sorted. Ah, you too. Hi Effect, how you doing? There we go, I think the music is okay. I don't know if that's too loud or too quiet or what, let me know. But for now, hey guys, this is where we're at again. It's primetime television. Damn. Right, where are we at? Where we left off, we had a lot to talk about last time. I think we breached a lot of very vague areas, I want to say, which we kind of need to go into and make some more specifics, I think. One of the big things we did talk about, obviously, is this region, what it's about. We have now the Comarian Conglomerate, as we decided it would be called. We actually need to move one of these down here real quick. We need to have this or Twitch will get mad at me. Fine there. That's better. Studio mode just allows me to do shit, don't worry about it. But yeah, so where we left off, we have the Comarian Conglomerate, which is now this area here in the Scarus Peaks. We have the Jackaraks, which is a local race native to what is essentially this vast space in between all of the cities, which is now a primal forest, so I will need to go around putting trees in all of that area. We have 3 princes of the merchant conglomerate that is Comaria. Around here. 3 different capitals. We have Driftwood, Riggin, and Glimmerrock. That was it, the other one there. So the 3 princes we agreed, chosen somehow, bound by some kind of contract, and they are dedicated to the god of greed, who they just know as the god of wealth, because, you know, to them it isn't so evil. We didn't decide what the contract would be, nor how the princes would be chosen. We also didn't talk about the Chosen of Greed, or whatever we're going to end up calling them, who upholds this whole contract between the princes and stops it descending into chaos. And we also haven't talked really about the Jackarak civilization. Who are they? What is their vibe? I think that's kind of what we want to go with today. And also I think starting to build a small bestiary as well would be a good idea. So start to think about what kind of animals or entities are going to be in this area that we will be making full D&D 5e compatible sheets for, which is a lot, but we'll get there. Either way, I have updated quite a lot of other stuff already. I am depressed, a mess, wearing a vest, and ready to go rest. I just jest, I'm only mildly oppressed in a world full of the What the fuck? Effect, are you okay, buddy? Effect, do you need help? This is my only comment at this moment in time. Do you need help? I'm gonna... These are the primal forests. They be big boy trees. I'm gonna start putting these around while we chat. Evidently, I'm not okay. That was kind of the vibe I was getting off you, buddy. But hopefully this can make you forget about how shit life is for a little bit, because to be honest, aren't we all? Just strumming your creative skills. We love a bit of depressed creative skills. Just scanning trees, don't mind me. So yeah, I think we need to talk more. I think the character of whoever this Chosen is. We did call them the Chosen of Greed, but I think we can probably come up with a better name than that. Who is the Chosen who upholds the contract of greed? And what is the contract of greed? This is something we haven't really talked about either. We just know it was made by the original 3 pirate princes, who we have... We have Bootleg Jones, we had Bert the Jeweler, and I believe there's a Blood Crushed one. Have a look. Yeah, episode 3. Bert the Jeweler, and who was my last? Togtar Blood Damned. There we go. That's the last one we had. This is a very densely packed primal forest, by the way, in case you didn't remember. This is also going to be a large, giant tree land. We did also agree the area was going to be filled with bugs, but yeah. Who do we want the Chosen of Greed to be? We discussed ideas of them possibly being one of the native Jackarak. We also discussed ideas of them being someone who is an ancestor of the people, of the pirates, who recognizes what greed has done to them and wants to try and save them all. What vibe are we leaning more towards? I'm cutting out a little? Strange. Hold on, let me adjust my mic positioning. That might be the problem. You should be good now. It's actually in front of my face now. I was actually kind of off to the side before. Sorry. Music down slightly. Can do that. Kind of about there. Is that good? Perfecto. Good, good. Okay, cool. Everything should be chill now. Shouldn't be getting too many mic cuts. It's actually in front of my face, like I said, so every little helps. Yeah, okay, let's get some ideas, guys. Who do we want the Chosen to be? Let's start with something basic. Do we want them to be a native Jackarak who's trying to protect what's left of the native lands that have been taken over by the pirates? Or do we want it to be someone who's come from, as Effect I think brought up, the pirates themselves, who's kind of recognized that greed is tearing them apart and is trying to stop them from being torn apart by their contract? While I put these trees in here, because there's a lot of trees to go through. Okay, I have some snow trees to go down the bottom too. Would they be aware of the effect of greed has if they were a native? It's a good question, to be fair. I think we mainly talked about Jackaraks as being a very nature-fueled species, didn't we? So maybe not. Maybe the Jackarak wouldn't be that aware. For them, survival is just the main aim of the game. So would one of the pirate princes, descendants or a descendant of the pirates themselves, whoever was on board the ships, make more sense then? If they are aware or not probably dictate how their arc starts. Because if they aren't aware, their arc will probably start with them learning the effect. Yeah. No, I see what you mean. It's a good point to bring up effect. So glad these trees are bigger than the other trees because they're primal trees. Otherwise my life would be so much more difficult right now. Really depends on where along the path you want them. Well, I think the idea is that this person's been around for a long time, and it's a title passed on over time as well. Because they've been there since the beginning, right? That's how the princes haven't torn themselves apart, is what we agreed on. Given that greed is a horrible thing. So, with that in mind... Not just a snow tree. Do you know how many snow trees? Do you ever see any snow ones I got? Random train of thought, the Chosen One came later down the line after noticing how greed affected the people, so he sought the god out in years or centuries later, after the sealing of the contract. So they came after the contract then and wanted to... So they came after wanting to fix things, is that what we're saying? I kind of like that idea, to be fair. The reason he's still around is part of the new agreement in the form of a compromise with the god. What? So this is a champion who personally sought out the god of greed. Was like, what? Yo, bro, don't be destroying my people or the people like that. You also need to decide who the god of greed exactly is, other than obviously being a god of greed. Who are they? Do they have a name? Do they have a title? Where do they exist? That's something we need to talk about as well. Does this god of greed have a personality laid out at all? No, we don't know who the god of greed is yet. We haven't sorted anything. Also, hi, nice to see you. Yeah, no, we haven't actually like decided anything other than they struck a contract. I think our idea was that they struck a contract with the pirate merchants, kind of pushing them to push others to greed, wanting to pull everyone to that side, but with the idea that they'd eventually destroy themselves. Which is kind of what it's gotten close to doing multiple times. There was some kind of clause in the contract that stopped them being able to just kill each other. Which we still haven't quite worked out yet, by the way. They are my family, please accept my cry of desperation, for I am willing to sacrifice that which should never be sacrificed in order to appease a compromise. Please let me strike a balance in their cravings. Okay, so yeah, we're going definitely down the route of this champion of greed, whatever we're going to call them. For now, we'll just call them that. Whoever this person is, who maintains the balance of the agreement, they are one of the pirate descendants then. Kind of where we're going with this. I'm just gonna save this right now. Don't lose all the trees that I just put in. I also like that as a statement effect. That's very good. Greed in a general sense or a specific form of greed, like monetary greed. Greed in general. So we've already discussed some kind of rough parts of some of the kingdom. So we know that these guys down here are the merchant princes. We've got some ideas of like how they're going to be as people as well. But greed in general, like mainly monetary, mainly that kind of stuff, but power as well. Greed in terms of power, money, even just having people around kind of thing. Influence is also another kind of greed. So I think for the current princes, Davangor, which is the prince of the merchant prince, he's very much more of a strength, making trades, very utilitarian. Whereas Marybeth Bellheart, who's the lumber prince, very much manipulative, having power over people is more their kind of go-to. And then the Silver Prince, Avery Coin Cutter, is very much monetary. Like, this is mine, what I have is mine. So we have kind of money, influence, control. That kind of is the way that we're going at the moment. Didn't type in that one. Greed in the sense of the 7 sins. Yeah, kind of like that, yeah. Okay, so we're saying that this private prince, somehow, this champion of greed, sorry, made a deal with the god of... They made their own deal, right? Whoever the god of greed is. Or... Okay, if that's the case, then maybe the concept you can go down is that the god presents themselves in the form that represents the person's main manifestation of greed. So for people obsessed with money, they're almost like a merchant or banker. For someone obsessed with power, they present as a form of royalty, almost presenting the individual with what their greed could provide them in physical form. I love that. Okay. So we'll say physical manifestations. So physical manifestations are representative of the person they are being perceived by as perception, like deepest greed, deepest desire almost. So we're saying kind of... So we're going with 7 sins. Is it 7 sins? 3 or 7, right? So let's go in a little bit on that. So how would they present? So we're saying if they wanted... So what are the 7 sins? Can someone put out the 7 sins for me? Because I actually don't know them off the top of my head. Obviously, greed is a sin in of himself. We're going to go with money for this one. So this is like someone of high wealth. See, I think almost money might almost be, or like gold in this instance. I think maybe dragon-esque in nature. Pride, lust, sloth. Oh, gluttony is for sure the lumber prince, because they just cut down trees left, right, and center to fuel an economy. Kind of fits in that vibe. They just consume everything to make money. I feel like that almost fits too well with that one. When you always forget, like, no one remembers gluttony. Poor gluttony. Okay, so I'm gonna edit this a little bit. This can actually go white again now, because I just realized I've changed some settings on Google. Nom nom nom. Yeah, I think gluttony... Greed is definitely, I think, a dragon-esque appearance. Given, you know, the Dragon's Hoard gold, the need for more money, like constantly needing more gold. This definitely fits currently with the current prince, Silver Prince. So just say money in this instance. Because we've agreed last time that the current Silver Prince is very paranoid, hoards all of their wealth, barely seen kind of thing. So I think that fits quite well. So we'll say that they take a dragon-esque appearance to that. What about Pride? Would Pride maybe be like that royalty presenting? I feel like it would be. So Pride, we're going to also kind of link Pride with power. Or Envy's more power, isn't it? We could actually alter the name of this entirely, call them the God of Sins, but then Greed be the predominant one in this area. But obviously, they're pirates, that's how they always grew. Pride is definitely more, yes, definitely the current Lumber Prince. How she presents is very prideful. We kind of agreed that she would be kind of a bit of a mess. It just sounds a bit harsh. Yeah, no, that definitely works, 100%. I'm just going to pull this over here. She's a bit of a bitch. Well, that's kind of rude. We're going to present this side by side like this so we can actually keep things going. So we agreed last time... How would she be? Casually see my Steam page, don't worry about it. So we agreed the current Prince today, yeah, Mary Beth Bellheart, beautiful and manipulative, taller than most, major player, bisexual queen, aromantic, yeah, cool. A bit of a bitch. Pride is about what you have, envy is about what you wish to have, so similarities between the two presented it in different ways. Yeah, so how would we show pride as what you have? Because we agreed Mary Beth would be very much like, do you know who I am? Is the vibe we gave, I think is how we described how she would be as a person. So how would this present? Yeah, so you say we'll just put this as notes so we have it. So pride is what you have, envy is what you wish you had, so what you want. Sloth is obviously laziness. There you go, laziness, thank you. Wrath is obviously anger. Lust, that kind of speaks for itself. Desire. So how would pride present then? If this is saying this is what you have, what would the appearance be of pride? If the god of sins came to you and your main desire was your main sin was being prideful. Davangor very much like envy. Yeah. Half-orc descendant wants to be fun, doesn't know how to be. Yeah, so the idea of Davangor is he is the descendant of the original or half-orcish pirate captain who was actually very soft as a person and wasn't feared at all. They were incredibly into arts. So they've twisted history to try and make it sound super, super dark and depressing and everything. They've tried to make him sound a lot more vicious than he was. And they're this Davangor is very self-aware of how their ancestors were soft, and they want to be taken more seriously. So they've been changing everything. They get controlling and angry when trades aren't going their way. Yeah. He's the only one who knows the gravity of whatever the contract is, which we still need to discuss the terms of the contract. And he's very utilitarian. I definitely agree with you. I feel like envy or wrath goes with that one. Whoever gets envy totally should be a primal rival to Mary Beth due to their presentations. Could be. Well, the current princes will represent each one of these traits anyway. So we currently have pride is very much Mary Beth. So we'll just put Mary Beth in here. How are you spelling it? No, I'm just doing one word. Mary Beth. The current one is Avery Coin Cutter. Yep. I do think Davangor is more... Hey, Tanks. Nice to see you, buddy. Davangor is more envy if their whole deal is wanting to be seen as something that they are not in regards to be taken seriously and stuff. So what they want desperately more than anything else is for everyone else to see them as tough when all that people know is their ancestors' history. Yeah, that's actually kind of rough. Okay, so we're gonna go with Davangor being envy. I like that, yeah. Yeah, because like all of his ancestors have all been really soft and into culture and arts, whereas he's suddenly become very utilitarian and angry, trying to be something different, desperately trying to get out of that that kind of presentation. Yeah, that's rough. Okay. So what would they present as? That's something we need to think about now. So lust, I feel like, is pretty obvious. Incredibly attractive person. Lust just appears as whatever the person would be attracted to, their perfect love interest, essentially. So greed is a dragon. Which is the greediest dragon? I can't remember. Red dragon is the most powerful, but which ones are the... I don't remember off the top of my head. Hey, Barna. Welcome, welcome. He gives me main character vibe, but doesn't acknowledge the ignorance of his own envy that others don't have to worry about their ancestry. Yeah. Because Barna is what people know. So how would pride present? If someone's biggest sin was pride, how would they show to the individual? Would they show as themselves? Would they show as a mirror, maybe, of the individual? Nothing special, literally just show as the same person. I feel like that's a good one. Yeah, so they're literally just the same person. So we're now going to say it's not the god of sins. It's not the god of greed, it's the god of sins. I like that. Do you think they could represent as more than one individual? As the way I could see sloth being desirable is it be them representing as someone who has maids and butlers doing everything for them. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I like that. So yeah, they're a god. They can present as whatever they want to be. I like that vibe. So sloth is just... So that's how they present. That's good. I like that. Okay, so good. We've got 4 now. So we know how greed presents: pride, lust, sloth, wrath. What about anger? Yeah, wrath. What are we going with wrath? How would the god of sins present to you if you were a wrathful individual? Yeah, negligence makes more sense. I was just putting them as base understanding so we have a good idea of where we're going with them. But yeah, I can definitely do that. That's not how you spell it, is it? Fuck. remove this line because I don't need it. Okay. Finally figured out what you're doing. Saw some alien comments about baseness. Yeah, no, so this is the god of sins, how he appears as a physical manifestation to those who meet them. Wrath could be irritant. It manifests as whatever angers one the most. Ooh. I like that. Like, purposely tries to get them more angry. Yeah, greed is like the basic one. Greed is what led them to this place in the first place. But it's, yeah. Irritant sounds like a cool sword or dagger. Temost. Yeah, I'm great at typing today. So yeah, so they present as anger as whatever annoys the person the most if their main sin is anger or wrath. I like that. Okay, what about envy? The angrier you are, the more likely you are to act on your wrathful impulses. So I like the idea of whatever it is that angers them. Yeah, it's a really good idea. In fact, I do love the idea. I agree with Brownie 100%. It's an awesome idea. I feel like envy would almost be a perfect depiction of how they want to be. Yeah, so it reflects who you want to be. That's what I mean, yeah, like rather than... Yeah. If I can get rid of these little bits in the middle. Because these are all just so I could understand exactly what which sin was. Because I really don't understand people. Or sins. So this is just so I kind of understand more than anything. Because pride is what you have, yeah. Okay. People cannot be understood, their objective can be. That is true, I like that. So how does this god of sins then appear as gluttony? I think gluttony is more than just meals though, right? It's like consumption in general. So tearing down resources, going through anything and everything without care in the world, that's consumption. I feel like in that sense it could be a thing. So saying, for example, where we have this here, the way we set this realm up. Over here, which I need to add more trees to as well, these are the lumber princes who harvest what's something called coal bark, which is this bark that burns for a long time because of its nature growing in a very cold environment, the way that it's developed over time. So it could be that their main sin in that area is actually gluttony because they just consume everything around them in order to make gain. Although the head of the actual current day lumbar prince, we agreed, was more pride. As they are a very prideful person. But I like that idea in general. Yeah, it could still be a chef giving them anything they want. It's the idea of consumption, the idea of like what is going to push them the most, pretty much. So we'll go with that for now, I think. It's just a giant billboard. It takes the shape of plus publicity. Oof. I like that as a statement on society, but maybe not on that one. Okay, we'll go with this for now. Also, billboards don't exist in this world. It is a high fantasy world. D&D-esque world. So this is the champion of sin then. Really? Okay. Okay, Bana. So if this is how the god of sins then presents, so I'll change these notes to be We'll say that it's going to be sins instead.
Oh my god!
Wait, thank you for the follow. Ouch, my ears. I forgot that that is the sound that is made. God damn it. Yeah. Soulfree Wolf, thank you for the follow, my guy. Okay, so it's the god of sins then that is the founder of this empire that started from greed, though. We did agree that much. Any other comments we want to make about what this god is going to be? Do they have a name? Do they have an actual name? And do they have an actual manifestation that is the real them, quote unquote? Or is it always perceived? Say you had 4 people in a room, all perceiving the god. Do they all perceive them differently based on what their sin is? Or does it then have kind of a break in the illusion? This is one god, yeah, who manifests in different ways based on what your biggest sin is. This is where it gets real complicated. Which is the founding father of a whole nation of pirate princes. It's a thing. Yeah. As you can see, things got complicated real quick with this nation. Oof, and this is only the first one. Constantly shifting between each manifestation. So we're saying that if there was a room, if multiple people were viewing the god at the same time, it can't settle on one, so it exposes the facade. Ooh, I like that. So if you don't know that it's the god of greed, if multiple people perceive it at the same time, it can break that. I like that. It doesn't have a true form, but desires one. So the god of sin's true sin is envy, in a way. Okay, so the god of sins almost is in of itself sinful in each of its ways that it represents. Ooh, I quite like that idea. Is it then the inability to do so that makes it want to kind of strike these deals and bring down civilizations then? I feel like this circle where each sin feeds from one another, sustaining a never-ending cycle, which is the reason for the god of sins applied it. Oof. Is it bad that I'm kind of feeling sorry for this god now? Like, this is a traditionally evil god that we're making, and yet now it is so much more complicated. Hey, Vodkas, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So the trick to the contract is that every sin feeds from itself. Like, from each other. Every evil being has a motive, that is true. So we're now going into the contract now. So we're saying that the contract, each sin feeds the others. So it kind of keeps itself balanced. Still alive? I'm glad you're still alive, my guy. We're the best at making something that shouldn't be into its total opposite. Yeah, like the fact that we turned the Tepi wigs into a race that just are being completely abused by trolls who they think are gods and now being slaughtered and sacrificed to every month. Yeah, I'm fully aware you're good at turning cute things evil and evil things good. That was last episode. Fuck me. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so the contract in a way works like that. So then how does this champion then of sin fit into this? So do they strive to try and keep the balance? Is that what we're going to say? And who are they? Who is the current champion of sin? Is it someone who's lived for millennia because of this contract? Or is it a new person? Is it rotated, passed down in some way? Is it neutral individual? Good in a way, probably leaning towards more good than evil. Only because they're trying to keep their civilization, the Camarian conglomerate, they're trying to keep them... How can I say that? How can I put this in an easy way that my brain is going to allow me to function? They're trying to stop them from falling to one type of sin, basically. And therefore destroying the balance and breaking the contract that allows the Empire to survive. Oh wait, I have notes on this guy at the top of the page. Okay. So it's saying they made a deal with the God of Sins to form a compromise to keep the princes in check. This is to keep balance. So the whole willing to sacrifice that which should never be sacrificed. I feel like it fits into sacrifice being time. He bound himself to immortality in order to forever mediate the sins from overboiling one another. So it's kind of like a bound to it. Oh god, that would be a brutal existence. I kind of like that though. So it's an endless burden that the God of Sin gave them power to influence and mediate. But at the same time, that power came with an endless responsibility. Oh. Could never be me. Okay. So, sacrifice death in order to forever upkeep the balance of sin. So they can't die, so they're immortal. So yeah, they don't shift between them, so that's what I'm saying. So this is kind of a split between your ideas. So Brownie, as you were saying, they have a balance of sin within them. Because the God of Sins gave them the ability to control and balance sin. While not being able to give that own ability to themselves. Which is a bit brutal, but I kind of like it. Yeah, this poor dude, I know, right? This is actually kind of harsh. So then, did the God of Sin accidentally make that which they envy the most? Because that's actually so horrible. And that means, like, what, the God of Sin's constantly trying to disrupt the system, while the Champion of Sin constantly tries to balance it. So although one made the other, the constant struggle is between the two. That is brutal. Okay, So then the wrathful part of the god tries to undo the balance. A never-ending rotation exists even in creating the thing which he created. Nothing like making your characters suffer endlessly. Hey, you guys, we're creating a world here. D&D, what's going to be able to be played in D&D once I've actually finished making the full website. We've already made a lot of the races playable in D&D 5e, actually. We made the Tepiwigs, Dawn and Dusk Elves, and Jackarax playable D&D 5e characters on the website. You can actually get the character details there. Okay. Okay, so the wrathful part of the God of Sin tries to undermine that which the champion does. There's a constant loop. Okay. Oh. Okay, that's kind of brutal. We've actually fucked a guy up. Like, so the god can't control somehow whatever made this god a god, which we should probably go into at some point. How is this person a god? How do gods exist in this world? Were they born at the dawn of time, or did they rise to that position? That's something we need to think about. But, so we're saying that this god of sin constantly shifts between the forms, unable to balance themselves or maintain one, but somehow gave power to another individual who was able to gain balance between them as part of a contract, not realizing what power they had to do so, which then made them envious of the position of the champion, and has led to a constant battle between the two, one trying to destroy balance while the other tries to maintain it. Haha, okay. This has gotten so complicated so fast. But okay. So if the champion of sin is a descendant of the pirate nation, but now their own individual, kind of godlike individual. It's all fun and games when it's revealed the champion is the real villain and the god is actually a victim of the sin. Oh god. Well, I mean, if the champion has the ability to balance sin, then why aren't they doing so for the god? There is a question in that. Is it some kind of they're unable to, but the god thinks that they should be? The reality is their power isn't large enough to do that. Because the god of sins is a being compromised of all. You misrank for D&D content for so long? Yeah. So the god of sin is literally the embodiment of all sin, right? Which means they're constantly being torn apart, switching between them. The champion was only given a small fraction of that power, right? So they don't have the power to help the god, but the god believes that they should because they see that they're coping fine, when reality is that it's just such a small amount that they can cope with that, whereas being the embodiment of all of them is too much. But anyway, who is this person? Let's come up with some names, some ideas as to how they present physically. Do they have a name? Or have they lost their name to time? How long has this nation been around? Have they just forgotten? Is another question. The irony of that track being called Freedom and Promises after listening to that and writing that section. Cool. Good job, Spotify. Hashtag not sponsored, but I wish I was. How about the god is part of an intergalactic species that are now in the what now? Scale of civilization progress and where sci-fi comes in. Oh god, no, it's too complicated. Effect. Let's keep it high fantasy for this. Part of me thinks that maybe they have a name but don't reveal it due to the sins inside of them. They're too prideful to deem others worthy of that knowledge. They envy other people's identities and names, etc. So that's their balance of sin. Okay. I like that. But for writing purposes, he's called Jeff. My name, Jeff. Okay. So the real name before the deal. Do we really want a Jeff? We can go with Jeff. I need a piratey last name though, because it is a pirate. Ex-pirate. How about adding the 7 virtues as well? And it literally fluctuates between which one is active hourly. Name it Flux, and created its champion in a moment between virtue and sin. Holy shit, I love that. Thank you for joining in and giving us some ideas here. That's fucking cool. Is this gonna become like, wait, hold on, how did you spell that? Okay, so is this going to become kind of a Lord Sheogorath Oblivion style situation? If anyone understands that reference. So it's a god of flux then? Ooh, I kind of like that. Oh, god of sins and virtues. Named Flux. Which is where the whole idea of something being in flux. Oof. They did say high effect, you just weren't listening. This is what the god of sin didn't perceive when granting the champion the powers of sin, that they also had the virtues inside to balance it out. Ooh, I like that. So do they fluctuate on a specific timetable or specific scale? Is there a point at which it switches? Okay, so we're saying they fluctuate between sin and virtue. They made the champion in a moment between both, giving them stability where the god themselves have none. That is really, really fun. So that's why the champion has it. This world does not have months yet. No, this world does not have months yet. It doesn't have days, months, years. We haven't actually figured out a time cycle in terms of the world itself. So do you want to say every 7 months it fluctuates between the two? So is it the god of greed, or does it randomly fluctuate? Does it not know when it's going to fluctuate? Is that part of the instability? Also, I'm just going to casually get my notebook out so I can actually write down names so that I can get it. That sounds good. Yeah, so it's part of the instability then. Not knowing might make for some interesting character interactions, like them switching mid-combo. Yeah. So is this actually a neutral god? You know how every god has an alignment in D&D? Is this actually a neutral god? Because they don't choose to be good nor evil. It just both exist inside of them and come out chaotically. Because that's actually quite a fun concept. We finally found the true neutral. Yeah. Perhaps it switches whenever it's around a powerful instance of virtual or vice, with the opposite or same random that it's presented with. Ooh, am I gonna have to make a... I'm gonna have to make a table, aren't I? I'm gonna have to make a roll table. I'm gonna make a roll table. This is just gonna happen now. I'm gonna be making a roll table. Okay, so they switch... I like that. Yeah, they switch like... Yeah, I like that too. Okay. They say they still don't know when they're gonna switch. That's a fact. Went from evil disgusting to neutral good to whatever the fuck. This is just true neutral at this point. More like chaotic neutral. Yeah, it is more like chaotic neutral. No problem effect. I'm just gonna note for myself here, make roll table. Because I will make a roll table. This will go on the website over the next week. That's fine. I got a few things to catch up from last episode as well. Okay. Deepest sins or virtues then? Okay, so if we say that when it's in its sinful facade, or vices, whatever you want to call it, when it is in that persona, it presents as these things to the people it interacts with. One of them, anyway. When it's in its virtuous persona, how does it present to people then? Does it have one solid presentation? I don't actually know if there are a list of virtues, as it were, the same way there are sins. I don't think there is. We could choose 7 virtues to counteract the 7 sins and have representations of each in a similar way. Obviously, there's a lot more than 7 virtues, whereas there are the main 7 sins that everyone kind of agrees upon. But I think that could be quite fun as a thing to put in. So an easy opposite to gluttony, for example, could be moderation. An easy opposite to greed could be, I don't know, diligence. Or generosity. Okay. So this way, when they're in their virtuous persona, this is a very chaotic neutral god. Okay, cool. Oh, this isn't complicated at all. I love making complicated shit. It's actually a good time. But anyway. I think an easy opposite to... what? That was loud. It's not the same. We're not. We're gonna switch back to this playlist because it's better. Fuck Spotify. It's annoying me. Okay. Welcome back. So yeah, I think an easy opposite to greed would be charity. However that however that presents. What would an easy opposite to pride be? Well, pride would be humility, right? The opposite of lust would be temperance. Opposite of sloth. Fuck knows. But oh, we could do the biblical ones, or we could do Aristotle's. Kind of like Aristotle's. I don't know how much people know about philosophy. Oh, this could be a fun time. The Bible does have 7 virtues, which are kind of the opposite. They are overcome by these. Yes, no, this does make more sense. If I actually go with that, then it goes with the 7 sins. Quite perfectly. Give me one moment. I'll just get the exact list up, because I know there is one. I should know. I'm a bad Christian. Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth. So pride is with humility. I was right there. Do I have this in the same order? I don't. Okay. This is gonna get real confusing real quick. Greed. Charity. Oh, I was basically right already. Imagine me quoting the Bible by accident. Oh god, that's not fun. I don't like that. Basically was quoting the Bible by accident. That genuinely makes me feel ill. Although 3, lust was chastity, but I don't like that. We'll go with modesty for now, but we'll probably change it. 4 was envy. I don't have that until last though, so what was sloth? Diligence, yeah. I can't spell. Wrath. Overcome. Patience. No, temperance. No, patience. Patience is overcome by that. Envy then is gratitude. And gluttony, temperance. That makes more sense. Okay. Oh, this gets really confusing real quick. So these are essentially the opposite to the 7 deadly sins, quote unquote, whatever you want to call them. No, that's a TV show. Is it an anime? It's an anime. So what are we then going to have these presenting as? So if greed presents as a dragon, being in Lord of Dungeons & Dragons, obviously, dragons hoard treasure. Greed makes sense. So how are we then going to show charity? How do they present as that? A god of sin is very similar to the Abrahamic one god. Yes and no. Yeah, how would we want to then... How would the god present if it was in its virtuous persona, given that it flicks randomly between them, not within its own will? Metallic opposed to a chromatic, yes. So if we say charity then, we'll say gold dragon, right? Because they're known to be super kind. Gold dragons. So this is a gold dragon. Greed, I think. What's the greediest dragon? I actually should know this, but I don't. I mean, obviously, your most traditional dragon's the red. Because black dragons are very vain, right? White are the most animalistic. I think it is the red dragon that's the most greedy. Either way, charity will say gold dragon because they are very protective of communities and very kind. Humility then. So if pride shows as a mirror of the individual they're talking to, which is rough, what would humility be? Maybe humility can be like a reflection of that person as they were as a child. Just like bringing them back to their roots, humbling them as to where they came from. Or at their most vulnerable, yeah. So showing them at a time when they were struggling the most. Humble nature of innocence. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I feel like you are the most vulnerable when you're a child. Because that vulnerability and innocence is in of itself humbling, right? Before the world fucked us all up, as it has a habit of doing. That's a very dark statement, I do apologize. So then if we go lust. Lust is the perfect manifestation of the individual's love interest, right? So what is modesty then by? Modesty isn't the right word. I actually need a perfect counter to lust that isn't fucking what the Bible says. Because the Bible goes with, what's the Bible go with? Chastity, I think, but I don't like that. What did Aristotle go with? Because I know Aristotle has the 7 virtues as well. Oh, compassion is what Aristotle goes with. I think parent's a good idea, though. Or parental figure. given that a lot of people seem to love making D&D characters whose parents have died. And no, that's not just me calling out all the edgy ones out there. The edgy nerds. So I think we'll actually change this to compassion. This is now going a bit into Aristotle's several virtues, but either way. Or trust. We could do prudence. Parent or someone the character truly had respect for. Yes, I like, yes, that's good. We'll just go with parental figure. So someone trusted and respected. Most forms of lust come from the form of objectifying others, so compassion or empathy might work as you're instead understanding the person, not just the physical nature. Yeah, that's kind of the way I like it. But either way, parental figure works. We'll call it compassion, but it'll be a parental figure. Someone they trusted and respected. You're seeing more than just the physical form, you're seeing a person. And it's not in a way that is sexual in nature, which is essentially what lust describes, right? So, the opposite then of sloth being a person being tended to, having their every need tended to at once. What are we going to go with for diligence? Lust and desire are two sides of the same thing. They are, yeah. Lust is usually described as a sexual thing, but desire can be a larger concept. Yep, that's true. Kind of trying to boil down base emotions here to make a concept that is understandable, I think. If diligence is too hard of a concept to comprehend in this instance, we can also change it to something else. Given that this is the opposite of sloth, we could change it to courage, perhaps. If that is maybe an easier one to stomach, as it were. Sloth being laziness, courage being going out and doing things. Don't make me, so I'm just going to switch because I'm moving this again because it's bothering me. It was off center. Still off center. Son of a bitch. Okay, now it's not off center. Everything's fine with the world. I have OCD. Let's not talk about it. Okay. Diligence. What would you think of it going, guys? If, like I said, sloth is a person being tended to by their every want and need. Ease, their work ethic and slavery to be as stencils of many culture. That is actually true. Bees have been used in a lot of imagery before. It's been used a hell of a lot in imagery. Again, if we think it's too hard of a one to visualize into a sensual being, because that's what we're having to do here, we could change it to courage. It depends what people want to do. Courage does also work as an opposition, and could be slightly easier. Yeah, you're running out of ideas to present emotions. That's what I'm saying. So these are emotions. Maybe if we switch it to courage, we can have it as an individual that's like powerful, strong, a knight of some description. That kind of concept. Courage presents as just a sword. There are angelic beings in D&D, the celestial beings. Teacher figure might be good. Maybe patience, considering to teach someone you need to be unbelievably patient, yeah. Sword and shield then. Okay, so courage is a sword and shield. I can go with that, that's fine. Courage to fight and courage to defend. Yeah, I like that. So we'll say that patience is a teacher from the individual's past. We'll say wielding form, so it'll be kind of like a shape, not a detailed form, but like a shape of a person carrying a sword and shield. Can be courage. Patience then, teacher from the individual's past. A lot of things from people's past here. Hope that doesn't give anyone PTSD. It's a bad joke, but hey. Okay, then gratitude. Gratitude being the reflection of envy. Again, we can change the wording slightly if we want to. Santa Claus. I don't think Santa Claus exists, unfortunately, in this world. We could have a similar holiday to Christmas in this world, but we haven't discussed that yet. So, for now, what are we thinking of gratitude? Also, the idea of Santa Claus is incredibly creepy. I don't know if anyone's actually thought about that before, but I have, like, way too much. And I'm glad my parents did not keep up that illusion for too long, because it would creep me out. Just saying. Part of me thinks gratitude should be a representation of the person's self, but in a whole form where they're grateful for their own existence and sense of self, rather than envying others and wanting to be someone else. Effect. What if you hate yourself? That would be an issue. What if gratitude is you surrounded by people you love? Yeah, if you hate yourself, you're in lack of said virtue, problem solved. That is actually true. Then that wouldn't be how the virtuous side would present to you. It would present to you in the form of another virtue. But yeah, gratitude could be you surrounded by your loved ones. In this instance. Whoever it is you give a shit about, who's in your life. That could be a rather stark realization to some players, maybe, that the people they are closest to is like the people in their party, things like that. You like that idea? Okay. Yeah, right? This is the first wholesome thing we've actually had in this entire world building. Other than the Teppy wigs until they turned really, really depressed. Not depressed, just depressing. Those. I can word. Great speak. My beloved Teppy wigs. Teppy whiffs. Yeah, no, Teppy wigs. Temperance, then. This being the opposite of gluttony. Gluttony being a chef giving the person anything they want at once. Temperance could be the representation of whatever brings you peace, as opposed to the uncontrolling and hateful nature of wrath. The person who brings you peace often represents flow and acceptance. I like that, yeah. So something that brings the person peace. Because peace in of itself is kind of a fullness, right? Vigilance opposing sloth, a desire to be studious or industrious to complete a goal or maintain assertiveness, perhaps a dwarf. I think as opposed to sloth, we've already got something. What's sloth again? There. Yeah, we put courage as opposed to sloth, I think. Was it? Yeah. I'm gonna need to word this in a better way on the website, but, yeah, we did courage to do something, courage to take action, as opposed to sloth being the want to do nothing. It's a good shout, though. Okay. But we're still sticking with the if multiple people are viewing the god at the same time, it breaks the facade, shifting between manifestation for the people viewing it. So this depends on whether they're going to be resenting at the time. That's alright, slow brainstorming's okay. Don't worry about it. If it was a, you know, if we want to change it, we'll change it. But I do like the kind of idea as well. Because it does fit that kind of vibe. So this god of sins and virtues, who's named Flux, that is what they're called, hence where fluctuate comes from in this world, is a chaotic neutral god who, in a moment between fluctuating between sin and virtue, created a champion to keep balance in a realm that they had created in a time of sin. Oh god, this is getting so confusing. Right. Stay with me, guys. That individual is known as the champion. I think we're just going to call him the champion, because he's not of sin nor of virtue. He is a balance between those, and holds both within them. Oh no, I guess they are still the champion of sins, because they are keeping the sins that were presented by Flux when they were in a sinful state in the form of the contract with the Pirate Kings. Boy, this is getting complicated. I'm gonna have to word all of this on the website. That's what's gonna be the hardest for me. They personally switch between things based on the instances of virtue and sin that they encounter, which I'll make a roll table for. And this is how they present. This is what we've gone over. Would there be a champion of virtue? I think the reason we're going to call him the champion of sins, well, this is my perspective on it, let me know what you think, is because he was created. So the deal that they struck, the contract, as it were, that was made with the original 3 pirates who founded the Camarian conglomerate, right? I think that was made in a bit of greed. So that was a fluctuating state of sin. So the contract itself was pushing them to sin, where then the sins were noticed by the people living in that empire, in that conglomerate. One then rose up, Joffrey Talonwing, who recognized the sins and sacrificed, made a deal with Flux to alter the contract to mediate the sins of the pirates, of the pirate princes, to keep balance, to act as the virtue of their sins. So would he then be the champion of virtue or the champion of sins? Because that is their job. That is what they are. They represent a balance. They are the balance between the pirate prince's sin and the fluctuating god. Yeah, so he in a sense is both. But what would they call him? Champion of Flux? The name of the deity? Yeah, we could call him the Champion of Flux. Or we could even just call him the Champion of Balance. If we wanted something that's like them trying to... Commercial hit me, lol. Oh, sorry. It could just be a Champion of Balance then. Due to the nature of the law, it'd be known as the Champion of Sin because the events occurred after the deal. Yeah, see, that's what I was wondering, because, like, if his whole persona was created, if his agreement was made to balance sin, to combat sin. No problem, be right back. Yeah. So, if the wrathful parts of the god, so are we saying that when the god is in their sinful persona, they envy the champion and try to undermine that which they do? But then when the god is in their virtuous persona, do they then have kind of this gratitude towards them then? And try to help? So it's almost a fluctuating cycle that in of itself creates balance. Sometimes the god hinders the champion, sometimes they assist. I think we have created one of the most complicated D&D gods to ever have existed, by the way. Want to say that now, in a D&D world. Champion of morality? Yeah, that could work. Morality being... Yeah. But, I mean, champion also indicates an overcoming of, right? Like, if you're the champion of the arena, then you've overcome that thing to become its champion. So if we look at it in that perspective, Champion of Sin is almost a double entendre. Because not only is he a personified version of the balance of sin, but at the same time, the balance that he brings from his virtues has allowed him to overcome sin and become champion of sin. Yeah, the god becomes either a supporting pillar or a crushing rock, yeah. So I think if we call him the Champion of Sin, it works as a double entendre. In that sense, that he is the personification of sin and having overcome it with virtue. This man stole the job of the very deity who tricked his people. It's almost poetry. Yeah. He in of himself, he acts as a balance between the god and the people. He is the mediator, basically. Okay, we're going to come back to the contracts in a minute, because that gets too complicated. But yes. I like the concept. This is a really cool concept for how a nation was founded on sin, and yet still somehow succeeds, still keeps moving. Because that's essentially what we have. A nation founded making a deal with what was at the time a god of sin, only to have it corrected partially by a fluctuating point of virtue and sin, which now is in a constant state of flux. It's kind of interesting. God, this is a very sad We made something both wholesome and incredibly depressing at the same time again. And I don't know how I feel about it. And we always make stuff that's both depressing and wholesome. Almost. Problem with the Flux is it isn't balanced. Because of the randomness in which it changes, only the champion has the ability to maintain the balance. Yes. So that's what we're saying that the god is envious of. The god of sins and virtues, Flux, is envious of the champion's ability to maintain balance. So when they're in their state of sin, their main emotion is envy whenever they present to the champion. Would the natives be aware of this deity but act more primal to each other in the emotional sense? Well, the deity exists across the world. This is a god. Gods can exist anywhere. It's just most prevalent where it made its deal here. The champion of sin is essentially a mediator where something had gone wrong, where the god had directly influenced the lives of a civilization. The champion now rose from that to become something to balance it, to maintain it. The god, though, exists in the whole world still. The god still exists, hovering over all. So yeah, the natives would be aware of this god, but they would also perhaps be aware of all the other gods, the same way this nation would be, but they would be more focused on one. But yeah, if we think about the zone where we're at, this forest, which I've not done filling in, because it's actually going to come right around here and down to here. The primal forests, which are the natives of the Jackaracks, the natives of the Scarus Peaks, got its name Scarred Silver, that lies in the mountain ranges here. As we've discussed, this is a lot of lore. The Jackarack, yeah, I mean, they would be aware, I guess, of it. And perhaps they're more wary then to it. You gotta go later? It was lovely seeing you though, Vortia. Okay, I'll see you later. We do need to actually think about the Jackaracks too. We do need to build the Jackarack. What do their civilizations look like? What do their people? We know what they kind of look like. Large hairy people, kind of like Bigfoot and Wookiees put in one. Don't sue us, Disney. But yeah, what do they worship? Do they have their own god as well? Is there a god of nature they serve, maybe? Or primal instinct? Do they not have a god? Do they represent everything that is on the ground? Oh god, yeah, they're called Jackaracks because of the crocodile click-like roar they have, which sounds kind of like Jacka, yeah. I hate it. I hate it and I love it at the same time. It is very creative, but I don't know how I'm going to get an artist to draw it. That's the problem. Yeah, but it could be that the Jackarack are particularly primal in the sense that they don't really believe in gods. They're like, we're here and now, what's the point in praying to someone else? Like, you know, we just gotta survive and get through the day, and that's on us. We just say they were very primal in that sense, very much survivors, hunters, gatherers. We have the burrowing type, the groundwalkers who burrow and build cities underground. We have the tree striders who build their cities among the tree, two sub-races of Jackarack. I think in general they seem to be a very primal, godless group. Yeah, they see nature as everything that they need. But they don't see gods as having anything to do with their lives. Nature gave me shelter and food, and I give back by what is that? Retaining its natural state. Yeah. That kind of vibe. That's what I think about the Jackaracks. They don't really believe in gods. They're like, gods exist, but fuck them. What do they got to do with our lives? The only thing we care about is what is here now in front of us. You know? And to them, that's nature. Which I love, actually, as a concept. just gonna write that down before I forget. Would be a reason why they dislike the industrialization of the area by the colonizing pirates, yes. Especially around here, around the lumber prints, because I'm going to be putting more trees around here, but they've cleared out areas of woodland to make money from the coal bark. So that is going to be something we'll be looking at as well. No, I just don't. Thank you, Google. Oh, I just said thank you, Google. My phone fucking lit up. Calm down. It's like England and France to the Native Americans. Oh, that's a little political, but yeah, basically. No, looking at it from a surface level, absolutely, yeah. Again, I'm not American. It's an S, not a Z. Okay. Okay. So now we're getting a bit more into the Jackrags. Gotta go, but thanks for letting me be part of this. Hopefully you'll be able to come more in the future. Yeah, hopefully as well, man. It was lovely to see you. I'll see you later, Brownie. To be fair, I'm thinking of ending this episode soon. Fairy lizards lived a happy life in their mud houses, tree houses, and holes. Then the big man ship people came and started ripping out their trees. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Oh, oof. Yeah, but I think we're gonna call it here anyway, because we're actually at a natural stopping point now. We have spent nearly 2 hours discussing the intricacies of the god of sins and virtues, who the champion of sin is, what created this weird balance, and a bit more about the pirate princes and Kamaria itself. I think we have enough information in terms of a broad scope of the Kamarian conglomerate now. So next time, let's not do slavery. Next time we will come back, I think, and talk more about the Jackaraks and their native people, and do a bestiary for the primal forests, which is the main part of this environment. So that's going to be next time. Because we're at a natural stopping point, I'm going to call it now. Thank you everyone for getting involved in. It was really nice to see some new faces as well. In sense of Brownie and Soulfree Wolf. Appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully you guys are going to join in for the next one. It's every Wednesday from 8 PM British Summer Time, or GMT as soon as time zones change, because we do that. We hate ourselves. But yeah, thank you very much for getting involved, guys, and we'll see you next week. I hope you all have a lovely time. Bye.